Oh, so they could, if they're pushed to the wall, they could react unpredictably. In what way can they react? Because if you read what Prime Minister Netanyahu has just said, he's also asked the Israeli people to show some courage and patience. He says, together we will stand, together we will fight, and together we will ensure the eternity of Israel. I call on you, citizens of Israel, to heed the Home Front Command's instructions in the coming days during Operation Roar of the Lion. We will all be required to show endurance and strength of spirit. So clearly they are expecting the Iranians to hit back, and we are getting reports from Iranian media that 30 to 75 missiles are coming out of Iran right now to Israel. So what kind of missiles would these be? And do the Iranians have the capacity to go up the escalation ladder? And do they have a nuclear weapon, even if it's a dirty bomb?
Let's start with the start. The question of nuclear weapon in Iran. Crazy Grand Ayatollah Khamenei, the leader of the Islamic Revolution, the strongman in Tehran, has issued this nuclear fatwa in 2006, which is prohibiting Iran from possessing an intact or assembled nuclear weapon. There are lots of interpretations of this situation. Mine is that this means that he is prohibiting the IGC from actually assembling a weapon. But this does not mean that they do not have all the elements necessary to make a nuclear weapon. But he's unlikely to order the IGC to now recall this fatwa, issue a new one, and order the IGC to this is the way I understand, order the IGC to launch a nuclear weapon. There is no reason to do so, except Israel would deploy a nuclear weapon against Iran. It is the first thing. The second thing, you ask what kind of weapon did they have. They have something like 4 or 5 different families of ballistic missiles. Each is more modern or heavier or faster, with which they can target Israel from different parts of Iran. Some of them are shorter ranged, which means they have to deploy them from proximity to the border to Iraq, relatively close to Israel. And others have a range of 2,000 kilometers, which means they can deploy them from central Iran or eastern Iran, which means outside of the reach of Israel, which is why it's so important for Israelis that now Americans are involved. So their air force is going to target Iranian ballistic missile bases in that part of the country. So they have shown, for example, in June last year, that they are capable of combining such weaponry, heavier and lighter weaponry, but also faster weaponry. Because some of their latest missiles, they have re-entry vehicles which are coming down at hypersonic speeds. So they first shoot older and less sophisticated missiles to busy the Israeli and the American air defenses, to force them to spend their interceptors into intercepting all of the warheads coming down, all the wreckage coming down, because most of computers nowadays, fire control computers, cannot really properly recognize what is a warhead and what is a wreckage of some missile that was already hit.
Wow.
The problem is it's coming down in direction of threatened area. It has to be shot down. So it's a battle of numbers as well. Iranians shoot, for example, 20 missiles. Each missile is carrying, depending on the type, between 3 and 6 warheads. That means per missile, plus there is a body of the missile coming down. That means per missile you have to launch at least double the number of interceptors. So now, as this attack is going on with all the weaponry of this kind, you launch subsequently, a few minutes later, faster but lighter missiles from shorter range, which have higher speed, whose re-entry vehicles are coming down at higher speed. And then what happened, we have seen this last year, Israelis are shooting like crazy at all the possible warheads which are coming down, and all of a sudden there's coming something super fast and boom, and it hits. Why? Because the Israelis are so busy with protecting themselves from earlier or heavier or older and less sophisticated weapons that they never had the time to detect on time and to intercept this fast-coming missile. So something is going to get through.
What is the reaction time between Iran and Israel? So hypersonic missiles coming from Iran to Israel, how much time do you get?
It's essentially, it depends on what kind of weaponry are you shooting at them. There's, for example, standard SM-6, which are intercepting ballistic missiles at very high altitude, something like 150 kilometers. This takes at least 2 minutes for this missile to reach, to intercept the missile already at a high apogee. And then there are other missiles which have shorter range. Here we are talking about seconds, actually, perhaps dozens of seconds, 15, 20 seconds at most. It is really very, very short reaction time, or actually time which the air defenses have to defend or to activate themselves and act against such an attack. It's very little time.
So, and the hypersonic missiles condense that?
Even less, yes.
And that's why we saw, I think if I'm not mistaken, the quarters of the intelligence agency being struck, or somewhere close to that was hit in Israel.
Yes, headquarters of Mossad and of Unit 8200, which is one of the major military intelligence agencies in Israel.
So how does this play out now? Because from what we were told by the Israelis and by the Americans, and Mr. Trump himself made that claim, that in the last iteration of the conflict, they had been able to dominate the air completely using all sorts of missiles as well as airplanes. And they had said that they had degraded all of the Iranian radar systems or air defense systems. And there was air domination, and Iran was for the taking, but we have pulled back to give them a chance. Is that did that happen, number one? And is that going to be the strategy or the philosophy again?
Well, of course, it's going to be a strategy again. Because in modern warfare, the first thing you do is to establish air superiority. But it didn't happen last year.
It didn't happen?
It didn't happen, no. What happened was the following. The Israeli Air Force has declared itself, after just 2 days or something, as in possession of total air